Frak, this podcast, come and listen to us talk about Battlestar Galactica. It's a show that we're talking about. Hello, interwebs, and welcome to the Frak, this podcast. I am your jolly host, Jesse Gender, and I am joined as always by...
It's Vera who had the wrong notebooks. Jolly. Jolly.
Jolly like an elf. I was trying to think of something Battlestar Galactica related, and it didn't come to me. Jolly like a Cylon on car wash day. I don't know. I don't know, because they're machines. I don't know, what would a Cylon get excited about? Heavier than a Cylon on... I don't know. I really don't know. On Christmas, really, considering how fucking religious they are.
They would totally be the put the Christ back in Christmas people.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Boy, number 6 would be boycotting Starbucks because they said holiday.
And Leoben would actually be the one bringing them all down and be like, no, the problem is that it's too commercial.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'd be like those times that like Fox News would bring a Catholic priest on to be like, doesn't it make you upset that they don't say Merry Christmas? Like, actually, I don't care. It's just the commercialization of the holiday. I don't.
Why aren't you spending all of Christmas at the church? Right? You're like, if none of this like family, bullshit like going to a movie. No, you have to be at the church all day. Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Speaking of being at church all day, I saw Wake Up Dead Man.
Oh, yes. Really good.
Pretty good, yeah. It's the least of the 3, but yeah, pretty good.
Oh, interesting. I put it above Glass Onion. I wouldn't put it above the first one. I wouldn't put it above Glass Onion.
See, I go back and forth between the first two. This, like, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a little bit like my feelings on the Del Toro Frankenstein. Like, look, a middling Del Toro movie is still better than most movies.
Mm-hmm.
The worst Benoit Blanc mystery is still better than most mysteries.
I agree. I was having this argument because I was arguing with someone else that like, oh, Frankenstein is one of Del Toro's best. I'm like, nah, I don't hate it, but it is a middling one. Like, still great for a movie.
It's a real good Frankenstein movie, and it's a middling Guillermo del Toro movie.
The best way I described it is like, this is the perfect movie to play in high school. Like when it's like in an English class of like, you read the novel, now we'll watch the adaptation because the teacher wants to take the week off. All right.
there you go. Now, going back to Wake Up Dead Man, like here's the short spoiler-free version of why I think it is lesser.
Mm-hmm.
It has a far more mechanically complicated murder scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the supporting characters were sacrificed on the altar of that more complicated mechanism. I think that when you boil down the first two, the actual mechanics of what was going on were real simple. It was complicated by the circumstances and the people involved, but the logistics were real straightforward, which left a lot of time to really get you to delve into the characters. And I really didn't feel that with this one. So I think it might be partially a personal taste thing. If you like more complicated mechanics in your mysteries, cool. You'll probably eat a little bit better than I did.
Yeah, I liked the complicated stuff. I mean, for me, what I liked about it, again, spoiler-free version, I agree with you. I think this is the weakest supporting cast of all 3 movies. But I thought it was the strongest main character, like not Benoit Blanc, the main guy.
Oh, yeah. Father Judd is the best protagonist the series has had, but I feel like the elements were better balanced in the other movies.
Sure, but I mean, my other thing too is I also really liked that this one had the strongest, also not just for the main guy, but also Benoit Blanc had a pretty decently strong character arc in this as well. Not that he doesn't in the other ones, but this one I think is his strongest as well, which I really liked.
I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't a bonus for me. I'm gonna steal an observation that Yahtzee Croshaw had about Columbo. the stories suffer a little bit when they start to be about the character more than his work.
Oh, I agree. I what I liked about this one, again, without trying to stay spoiler free, is that I think it tied. I think Benoit Blanc's arc in this ties very well into Father Judge, right? Is that his name? I forget. Judd.
Judd,
Judd.
Jud.
Yes, I think it tied into what he was going through rather well, and it complemented it. It didn't distract from his arc, which is why I really liked it. I thought that ending was really, really strong for what it was doing for both characters. Um, I personally I thought that that ending hit the hardest of the three for me, and that worked the best. Though I do agree it is definitely the weakest supporting cast. I also like complicated, like I do like complicated locked room mystery stuff, so that always works for me as well. So that's also a benefit in my book. But yeah, I agree.
Fair.
I mean, I agree on your point that it is definitely the weakest supporting cast. That is by far and away the truth. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
But
you're wrong, and now because you pissed me off and disagreed with me, you're not allowed to open your Christmas present.
oh, the feud's back on.
I'm canceling you. The AI was right, Vera.
So yeah,
Oh,
we
I
each
gotta
have
make sure I
gifts.
hide my address
Yeah,
on.
that's the thing. I'm tipping like the address is here. I'm like, no, you cannot see.
In fact, on camera, I'm gonna just scribble it out just in case. Oh, maybe not.
That's,
Oh, oh.
that's actually a pretty good idea. Hang
Yes,
on.
no one's gonna see where either of us live.
Where's my
No one will find out that you live at Connecticut.
Yes, famously,
Yes,
I
famously
live
you
in,
live in
In
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
All right, that should do enough. And if anyone can see through these scribbles, then they deserve to find us.
No, they don't. That was not consent.
Oh, don't try and find us, people. Well, yes. So, listeners, so you have this. Vera and I both sent each other gifts. So Vera has mine, and I have hers. Why is mine soft and squishy?
I figured that might be the question you had.
Yes, I was like, why is it squishy? I don't know why it's squishy.
I don't know who should go first.
uh, Screw it, I'll go first. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'll just choose. I gotta try
Yeah,
and do it so I don't turn it to the
but
camera.
find the answer to which you seek.
Why? Riddle me this. All right, let's see. Ooh, it's soft. Ooh, what is this? Oh! Are these booty shorts?
Yes.
I love it. Beam me up, hottie. I love that. I have literally, what's funny is I've literally looked at these at like conventions before. So
I got it at a convention.
that is hilarious because actually earlier today my partner's Aaron, um, her mom sends like pajamas every year, but she never sends the right size, so I'm always like floating in them. And I was literally looking at the shorts. I'm like, these are good shorts, but they're too big. These are perfect. So I'll be wearing these. I'm very
Good.
excited about it.
Feel free to send me pictures when you
I
do.
would be happy to send you pictures of my booty. Well, enjoy yours. Thank you. Legitimately, thank you. I was actually really wanting one of these. That is wonderful. It's also a gift for you, apparently.
Yes, evidently. I'm sneaky like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping you don't have these. You might.
Well, we'll find out in a minute.
You might. Knowing you, you actually might. It's very
Okay.
difficult to open.
Hacking peanuts.
That's all it is. It's just packing peanuts. That's all
Just
I got
the.
you.
How'd you know?
I just wanted to get you some nuts. You know, you're always talking about them.
There's a couple of things in here.
Yes, there should be two, theoretically.
Mm.
Yes, pull it out. Yeah. This is
I'll
oddly
just
sexual.
whip it out in front of
This
everybody.
is oddly sexual.
Woo! No, I don't have these.
Okay, good, good. I'm glad. I don't know if you can see, listeners. Yeah, it's hard to see on.
Intoxicate.
It's. I thought it
Is
was
it
cute.
is it the
So,
same on both?
the other one should be different.
Ooh. Well, let's find
So
out.
for listeners, it's a wine glass that has a Dalek on it that says intoxicate.
And this one.
It should be different. They might be the same, but I think they're supposed to be different if I remember the other one.
This one has the TARDIS on it and says, I'm about to get wibbly wobbly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. The intoxicate one
Oh,
I thought was the more clever one.
I agree, but I'll be putting those to use.
I know you would. On camera here, probably. They'll
Quite
be.
possibly. Oh, like I also I got something today that was something I treated myself to
Mhm.
that I cannot show in its entirety.
Oh.
But if you've been on TikTok and if you've
Oh.
seen what the rest of the outfit that this hoodie goes to,
Amazing.
you'll understand why I can't even stand up on camera right now.
Amazing. Well, I'll have to ask once we're done recording.
You know what? No, I want to see your face.
Okay, okay. Well, you would have.
So
Wait, I don't have my phone on me.
I was gonna send it to the Discord
Okay,
to
send it on
the
our Discord.
through Discord.
Good, 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 good,
So
good.
because you can pull that up. So
Yes.
hold on. And
Listeners, you'll get to see my face.
and there you go. Becoming yeah.
Oh, I definitely see why you cannot share that on screen. That's a lot of hair I'm seeing.
It
I'm
ain't the
not.
hair on my head.
No, it is not.
And now Jesse knows I don't wax.
Oh, I knew that before.
That's true. You have been to some of my pages.
That's true. It is very true. Well, you definitely leave some unfinished business. That is not what we're talking about first. You are a hero for
Oh
wearing
no,
that?
I finish my business.
Yes, you do. You do. That is true. Oh, well, you're a hero for doing so. We're talking about comments from the episode hero. Just go with me, listeners. All right, it's Christmas. Give me this one. It's Christmas
And
for
they
us, not for
say
you, I
that
guess.
a
Row
hero's
can save us. Um, so some quick comments from that one. Uh, Romler says they had a future storyline with Bulldog in mind, Bulldog being the guest character from that episode.
Hmm.
Uh, but there were problems with Carl Lumley's contract that stopped it happening. So that's why. Blame the
Oh,
contract negotiations.
that is a shame because it would have been really cool.
Yes, it would have been nice to have that come back. Super Laser Seth says, "Yeah, I'm gonna need an entire spin-off podcast of Jesse singing random songs and Vera reading the most unhinged tech bro conservative manifesto quotes possible ASAP."
Oh God.
Which I kind of want a podcast of that at the same time, where it's just me singing songs behind you reading tech bro quotes.
I
And
I
they say that a hero can save us while you read like
any slowdown in the development of AI is tantamount to murder. Oh
murder of the
God.
future generations of our planet who must at all costs be saved by
Shut up
my
and sing, bitch.
and
Remember
they
your
say
role.
yeah. uh we also had let's see, people commenting on me saying medallioned.
Yes, there was a fair few on that one.
Yes, the Bitter Fig says medallion isn't legal in US Scrabble, but it's in the larger Collins lexicon, so most tournaments outside the US would allow it. So there we go. Medallioned. It works.
Medallion.
Medallioned. I'm
Um,
as I cough.
one that I really appreciated. Somebody they put the timestamp
Oh.
of me losing my shit.
Mm-hmm.
This was the bitter fig.
Mm-hmm.
separate from the medallion comment.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, quoting The Simpsons, "Don't make me tap the sign," because I was like, "Argh,"
Yes,
with
when
the
you
thing.
said
What I yelled at Ronald D. Moore to go to therapy.
yes, which he needs to
Um,
do. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think, and by the time people hear or see this, I might have already done it. I think I'm gonna make a short, because if I clip the first bit where I say his name and just have me yelling at an obviously male showrunner for sexualizing every woman character and yelling "go to therapy," and I think I could just title the short, "What show is she even talking about?"
All of them. Every single one.
Yes.
Every
God.
single one.
God damn it, man.
Ah, yep. Well, once you it looks like you have to get that short done, and until then, it will be unfinished business. And speaking of, we are talking about the extended cut of the episode Unfinished Business today, aka Vera's face, aka known as the boxing episode.
Really? Is that what it's known as?
Yeah,
Not the romance subplot. Let's make Vera's life a living hell for 20 minutes longer than usual.
it
It's
is
not
all.
known as that.
It is also it is also known as probably the most divisive episode in the show for many
Cool.
reasons.
Cool. I can pick a side. I hate it. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. The fact that this was over an hour long was fucking torture. I hated every goddamn second of this fucking episode. Not for more objective reasons of some of the bullshit I've gone off. This is a personal taste thing and my own just complete disinterest in the romantic angles, but just in terms of what I have found that I liked about this show, I fucking hated this.
Since we're putting it out front first, I will say I am much kinder to this episode. It is
It's not hard. That's a low bar.
I actually let me like is probably a strong word. I don't it's I have a positive feeling towards this episode. It's not like, oh, it's great, but I'm generally leaning positive on it, but it is one of those like I don't give a shit about most of these romantic subplots. There's one that I do like here. Um but most of them I don't give a shit about. But they do a good job with the things that I don't give a shit about. Is probably the best way to put it. It's like I don't care about these subplots, but if you're gonna do these subplots, this was a decent way to do it. Unlike most of the rest of the show, where they've done these subplots.
I don't agree.
That's fair.
Having literally just shot a video on the finale of The War Between the Land and the Sea, where my core thing was, I'd rather you didn't do this, but if you did it decently. I am very capable of that position, and I don't agree.
That's fair. No, I agree, especially on War Between the Land and the Sea. That ending was, without spoiling, was really good for another romance plotline that I did not like.
Yes. It was a well done conclusion that I wish had not been what they chose to do, but they did, so it's fine.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, let us get into our recap to figure out how we feel about each and every part of this. We start off this episode. I'm just gonna forewarn, it's gonna get kind of messy because the episode continually like cuts back and forth to flashbacks on New Caprica, before the Cylons came and occupied New Caprica, and then to stuff that's happening in the present day on the Galactica. And it sometimes does so very, very quickly. So listeners, bear with me if I get messy with my notes here, because I was trying my best. My notes are usually like 3 or 4 pages, and I try to do like a bullet point per scene, and then like break it down underneath that. But this one is 7 pages, so we'll get there.
And it's not because it's overly intricate, it's just because they jump cuts.
They jump around a whole bunch. But yes, we start off with shots of New Caprica. Adama's on New Caprica enjoying the sun and playing in the what we'll call sand for now.
He's got his depression stash.
Yes, and then we also see shots of a boxing ring going on that has been set up in the flight deck of the Galactica. So there are
Hmm.
people fighting down there. We then cut to in the present day, Adama talking to D. And she's talking about like, oh, there's been some botch details, some missed deadlines that have been happening. Should we cancel tonight and call everyone back to duty? And Adama's like, no, the crew needs this. We all need this to help us refocus. So,
Yeah.
yep. So we don't know entirely what he's talking about yet, but we assume it's the boxing ring because we cut back down there and we see Lee is one of the people in the boxing ring. He's facing off against Hilo at this point.
Yep.
Uh,
And like, I'm just gonna, because I had this thought at the front end, but like by about halfway through the episode, I'm like, oh, they're just like, I just have to pretend this isn't a detail. But like, I'm just gonna say it because I thought it. Is it a good idea to have your second in command and your CAG both potentially beaten so rough that they can't perform their duties tomorrow, or indeed right now in an emergency? And of course, that's going to snowball with who else decides to get in the goddamn ring. But obviously, this is something I was just supposed to overlook.
Mm-hmm. It's a tradition. You can't mess with tradition, Vera.
You can't mess
Not
with
during
tradition.
Christmas time.
My tradition is not being a fucking idiot. And I break it a lot.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you follow that tradition. Anyways, we then have a scene where Starbuck and Anders have just clearly been having sex. And for Starbuck, it's clearly a physical need she's fulfilling, and Anders is having feelings. Starbuck, Anders tries to reach out to her, and Starbuck says, like, this is pretty much all I can handle right now. And Anders like, look, I know you went through hell, and I understand that I've been patient with that, but I want our marriage back, a real marriage. And Starbuck says, well, what if I'm not ready for that? And Anders says, I guess you'll never be. And Starbuck says, well, if that's how you really feel, I'm not going to try and change your mind. So, and then she basically leaves on the kind of aggressive note.
Yeah. This scene's okay. Like it honestly, it's okay because it's cut short.
Yes.
I have a feeling that if it kept going, it would do something that pissed me off. And it didn't quite. I still feel like it would have, but it didn't.
It would have pissed me off. I know it would have.
I'm very confident in saying that. That having been said, like the idea that like she still needs some kind of connection, but she's not ready. She's not ready to feel like she's married again. Like I kind of get that, and especially the way that kind of clashes with the fact that like he wants his wife back, and
Mhm.
like this is the kind of thing that I would not be against getting explored. The gaps in needs and the gaps in communication. But like then he has his line like, well, like if you're not, I guess you'll never be. And I'm like, and that is the kind of reductive way that writers always boil the shit down and strip all the nuance out of it and turn it into like a reason to break up right now. And I'm like, great, because this shit's always written as all or nothing, which that's what ticks me off. But because they cut the scene short, it is able to exist just barely at the edge of the more nebulous gray, like shit's complicated and there isn't a straightforward way to resolve this area that I'd actually be interested in that nothing ever fucking does.
Yeah, because Anders kind of leans into the like, I need you now or never, and it's like, give her fucking
Yeah.
time, bro. You know? Yeah.
And like I don't have a problem with him having that position,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel
The
very
show
confident.
leaning in that direction.
Yeah, the show feels like it's backing him with how sort of fidgety Starbuck is and how sort of firm he is, just framing wise. The show is leaning his direction, and so that's why I feel confident saying if this scene had been longer, I would have hated it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we then go back down to the boxing ring. We have Ty as the ref, I should say, and Starbuck.
Which seems like a massive liability considering how limited his vision is. Is
Yeah,
he really going to be able to properly ref and see what's going on?
Well, evidently so. Evidently so. But Starbuck comes in and basically goes into Hilo's corner, and Athena's there supporting her husband. And Starbuck is very much like, "Oh, I want to watch you kick the Cag's ass." And Apollo sort of sees Starbuck on Hilo's side, which he clearly has some level of feelings about. Um, and Starbuck says to Athena about Hilo, is like a couple months ago you would have had to roll him into this ring, but obviously Hilo's also got some aggression he needs to work out. So,
Yeah.
hmm we then flash back to yes.
So for the record, I believe if I have my timing right, when I saw the look that Lee gave at Starbuck when he saw her come in, I think that was the first time I wrote "oh fuck off" in my notes.
We'll have many more, I'm sure. We then cut to a flashback where we see Apollo is on New Caprica and he sees Starbuck with Anders on New Caprica. But then we come back to the present and Hilo knocks Apollo down. And Starbuck, says to Apollo, just kind of whispers to him like, "Come on," because he's like on the ground near her. But then, Apollo gets up and he loses the round due to Doc Cottle's there, sort of checking in on people. It's like, "Hey, you lost your out," and so Hilo wins the round.
Yeah.
So then Starbuck goes up to Apollo and basically starts, uh, assholishly teasing him, and being like, "Yeah, bit off more than you can chew." Apollo sort of snaps back and says, "Well, maybe you should track down Anders. He's always good for a laugh." And then he sort of catches that perturbed Starbuck, and he's like, "Oh, trouble in paradise. Now, why doesn't that surprise me?" Um, you know, and yes.
I'm it's getting I'm not gonna pull the trigger yet, but I'm considering if there's either two you knows in a row or a you know and a lengthy pause where you're clearly using the phrase as a stalling tactic. That might because like you broke the habit of your do because I used to give you clicks for it, and I feel like you've replaced it with you know.
Yes. Well, God, there's so many cutbacks in this goddamn episode. My notes are a fucking mess. So I'm trying my best here, everybody, to give a play-by-play as best I can. Essentially, they have an argument where Apollo sort of like needles Starbuck about Anders and how their marriage isn't good, and he's not surprised that her marriage is bad, and even says, "Don't blame me for your fracked up marriage." And they kind of get like in each other's faces. And Apollo says, "How far do you want to push this?" And Starbuck puts her dog tags into the ring. And Apollo does the same, meaning they're both gonna fight each other essentially.
Yeah.
So, yep,
Wee.
yep. So yeah, we're gonna wear off some sexual tension in the ring.
Yeah, I'm sure that works.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll save that thought until we get to a later bit, but like
Well, then we cut back after the opening credits, and Adama has showed up at the ring, and Dee's there as well. And Adama has to have his little fat phobia comment where he says, "Glad he lost the weight." So, yeah, and Dee says, "Yeah, so am I."
and that was where we get in
Vera
all
wrote,
caps
"Eat
eat
shit."
shit. It was like Adama's comment didn't need it. D's fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Serious. Okay. So
Especially since she has earlier in this show, like earlier on, had a thing of like, "I don't care about your weight" thing. She has said that explicitly.
yes, she didn't behave it, but she did say it. But regardless, like he is your husband.
Mm-hmm.
If you love him, and I'm not saying you're not allowed to have a preference. You can have a preference. You can prefer your partner or think your partner looks better this way or that way. But the instant you start imposing vocally, like I like you better like this, then you are imposing your desires onto another person's body in a way that I'm sorry, you have no right.
Mm-hmm.
The instant you start expressing that sense of relief, oh thank God you lost the weight, you're imposing a sense of shame onto
Mm-hmm.
Wake. Now granted she's not saying this to him,
Well,
but
I almost
knowing
think
but
almost
knowing knowing that she can say this loosely and freely, to me, gives no indication that she wouldn't say it to him.
I'm also saying that to other people, you know, like
Yeah,
yeah, like yeah, that's kind of fucked up as well behind someone's back who's your partner. So, yep,
yeah.
not great.
Go to hell.
Um, anyways, we can then cut to Hilo and Apollo, talking to each other after the fight, and they seem to be talking kindly about it. He's like, "Hey, you fought with Heartman." Hilo's being the nice guy. And then Dee comes up to Hilo, is like, "Hey, how's my favorite gladiator?" Being supportive of her husband. We get a brief little flashback to stuff we'll see later on.
D goes up to Lee. You said D went up to Hilo.
Oh, sorry, D went up to Lee, excuse me. Well, then we do a flashback with D and Lee on New Caprica, and it's something we'll see later on, but it's like she says, ready to go back to our ship to Lee. But back in the present, D kisses Lee. And she says, if you're done brawling, and she makes an innuendo of like, hey, we can go and have our own fight in private. Let's go have some sex. Um, but then Apollo says, I have another bout, implying the one with Starbuck. So,
Oh, he doesn't just say it, he like shouts it so that Starbuck is sure to hear that he says
mm-hmm,
he intends to do it.
mm-hmm.
This was the point at which I wrote down, I'm going to hate this entire episode, aren't I?
Yeah, evidently. We then
Yes. The answer is yes.
then we then we cut to Ty and Adama chatting. Ty's still in the ring, and Adama's sort of like checking in, and he says, "Hey, Ty says it's been a good couple bouts," and Adama's like, "How are you doing?" Ty said, "Well, I'd rather go back to into my rack with a good bottle, but you were right. This is a good idea. No sense going backwards. Might as well get used to the bright lights," which I did like that bit.
Yeah. There's like maybe three small moments that I
Hmm.
kind of like.
That was a good one. And then Rosalind shows up. We then go back to flashbacks on New Caprica, and Adama's sort of playing in the sand. And Rosalind sort of says, "Didn't expect to see you laying in the sand." And Adama says, "This used to be a river mouth. It's actually alluvian deposits." Well, it's a nice, and he also compliments her red dress because she has like a red dress on. And he says, "Good to see you, Laura."
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I
hate this. I don't hate this. This is the one romance subplot of this that I actually do not hate.
It is the one I dislike the least. And it
Hmm.
is a case of, if this is going to exist, I suppose this is okay. I still hate the fact that this exists at all,
Hmm. I
especially within context of him having kissed her before.
Yes. Well, that's my thing. I still don't like the kiss from way back when. I don't hate this romance, and honestly wish this had been the first time we got like an inkling of it, based on what this like episode's trying to do about like what like New Caprica represented by the end. I honestly wish there had been no kiss before, but
It
within this
would have
episode, I
helped.
liked it. Yes.
I still wouldn't have liked it, but it would have helped.
I would have I still like this. I like it better. Like the kiss was just a bad move all around. I fucking hate it. This would have worked better without that kiss, but I still like this. Cuz it's one of those like if this had been the first inkling of actual romantic kind of feelings between the two of them rather than it being like something made explicit by the kiss longer ago, I think it would have worked really really well, especially with the overall theme of what this episode is trying to say about like again what New Caprica represents. So, as we'll get
Yeah.
to in a minute. Back in the present, Rosalind sort of is standing next to Adama watching the fight, and Rosalind says, "My father was an avid fight fan. I adored my father, so I love a good fight." Um, and it's she asks about these boxing fights, and he's like, it's a private tradition. Arguments become grudges on ships like this, and they sometimes become feuds, so it's better to let it all out in the open. So rank doesn't matter in the ring. You just throw your tags in the box and you're allowed to fight it out. And Rosalind sort of says, did you throw your tags in there? And Dama says, I wish. All the frustrations that I have. So
So it's this whole notion of like the idea of emotion needing a pressure valve,
mm,
which if you actually learn much, and granted, I'm not trying to posture myself as an expert, but as I understand it, actual study into psychology has concluded like that's bullshit. Actually, not to say that there's no value in venting
Mm-hmm.
In the terms of like screaming into a pillow or, hitting a cushion or what have you. But the thing is, whatever your outlet is can be habit forming. And if your outlet is literally punching somebody in the face, that's not a pressure valve. That's teaching you unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I have not been part of the toxically masculine cesspools that this is dealing with. The military. I would say that the mechanics are probably kind of adjacent to like car culture and shit like that. Um, I've never participated in that. So maybe I'm talking out my ass when I say being punched in the face by somebody would not make me more inclined to get along with them. Maybe I'm fucking weird for that.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, it makes sense to me in terms of like the setting of a military thing that this would be a thing that they
It
would
it
do.
does make sense, and I don't even necessarily think it's a bad conceit. It's just one of those things like it's taken for granted so much in so many writings
Yes.
that like that not that this exists, but that this works. And I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, but again, that's not a Battlestar Galactica problem. I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying you
good, because
shouldn't.
I'm always right.
Uh-huh. I'm not gonna blame. I like it's a trope, and it's
Oh yeah, yeah, like this one is not on the show, but I'm gonna bitch about it anyway because
fair
I'm
enough.
already pissed off and I hate this episode. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. You're being a bitch. I get it.
yes.
Yeah.
Did you just meet me? Like what? Of course
Fair,
I am. What the hell?
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we flash back to 18 months ago, and Chief Tyrrell is talking to Adama, and Tyrrell is basically asking, like, hey, Callie doesn't really, he's like requesting to leave the military for his kids. Like, Callie doesn't really want our son born here, and neither do I. We request to be relieved of duty, and Adama tells him, no way, you're both here for the duration. So, yep.
Yeah.
We then we then cut back to the ring, and we have Hot Dog goes in the ring to fight with Starbuck. And during this, D is massaging Apollo as he's sort of licking his wounds from the last fight. And D sort of says, when I was 6, there was a boy who used to knock me down. And my mom used to tell me it wasn't because I pissed him off. And that's when I learned the other side of hatred is love. It was passion. What is this fight really about, Lee? So basically, she's very much telling him, like, I know you have sexual tension with Starbuck. Like, is that what this is about? She's basically asking him.
Yes.
So,
And like the point that she's getting to is a fair and valid question for her to ask. The story up to that point is another thing. That is total fucking bullshit.
mm-hmm,
No, little boys do not tug girls' hair and shove them down on the ground because they have crushes on them, and don't make it cutesy when a child is being rough and abusing another child. Fucking deal with that. God,
mm-hmm.
fuck, damn it.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Yep. Yep.
Sorry, I might in fact be the parent of a child who got put through a lot of shit and had to deal with a lot of people telling either me or them like, oh, but like it's don't think about it, or it's like it's just this. Fuck off and fix the problem, fix the behavior, even if
Mm-hmm.
it is because somebody's crushing. I don't fucking care.
Fair.
Stop with that bullshit.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Apollo says she's been pissing me off, and now she's throwing down the gauntlet. So he's like, it has nothing to do with any of this pent up sexual tension. I just want to
Which
punch
is
her in the
a
face.
big old lie.
Big whole bunch of bullshit. We then cut back to New Caprica 17 months ago, and Apollo and Dee are strolling around. And Apollo's sort of like, oh man, I'd rather be in a bunk than in this muck. And then Dee sort of says, well, your bunk's going to be warm tonight. Adama has approved the transfer to the Pegasus. And we kind of also learn, I forget exactly when it comes up, but I'll just say it here. Like, this is before they are out with their relationship. So
Yes.
they are
Yeah.
keeping it on the DL, and she has been transferred over the Pegasus with the Apollo with Apollo. But then they see Starbuck and Anders coming up, and they're sort of like being all a couple together. And they seem friendly enough. It's like, what? Do you come here to see Baltar break ground? And Dee and Apollo's like, well, there's an open bar, and Starbuck's like, well, why didn't you say so? Um, let's go find a better tomorrow. So yeah, and then as D and Starbuck goes off, Anders is friendly and gives Lee some alcohol. He's like, "Hey, here's some to drink." So
Hmm.
yep. So they all seem like a friendly double date. Then we cut to Founders Day on New Caprica, and Balthar's breaking ground and gives what I call the most generic speech of all time. He literally is like, "We're gonna break ground for a new tomorrow," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was definitely the boilerplate speech for that."
You said absolutely nothing. Congratulations, you're a true politician.
Exactly, exactly. But then we cut to a little while later at the celebration, and we have like dancing going on, a bunch of music, people getting
Now,
drunk.
I will say this. I do appreciate in the general sense of getting glimpses of New Caprica when there was hope.
Hmm.
That because like even before the Cylons showed up,
Yeah,
the
we got the
fact
sense.
that the fact that we had the 1 year later leap and shit was already falling apart.
Hmm.
Um it I don't know, it's somehow affirming to get this glimpse of like there was a time when it like the circumstances weren't any better, but people thought they would be, and people were
Hmm.
excited for what the future held. And I do think that that is worth reminding that these people aren't miserable literally every second of their lives. They have had patches where stuff looked better, where the world looked brighter, and where they were happier, even if
Hmm.
their overall circumstances weren't necessarily that much better. And I think that's important to have just to avoid it becoming like a Cormac
Misery
McCarthy
Portia.
style and everything sucks and the world fucking hates you
Yeah, I've
thing.
read The Road, I've read Blood Meridian, I get it.
Oh boy, I was in what the play he wrote, Sunset Limited. Fuck, that was
I
depressing. I
have
don't know if
not
you
seen
know
it.
that
No,
one.
I don't know. The only ones I've read of is
It's
The Road, which I like, and Blood Meridian, which, I'm not. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna put too many thoughts on the internet about that because that'll be a whole fucking thing. But
no Sunset Limited. It's a two-hander play. That's just an ongoing conversation between two people after one like stopped another from throwing himself in front of a subway train and then
hmm.
took him back to his apartment. And it's good, but I got to tell you, getting in the headspace to play the character I was playing in that it fucked me up for like a month after the after the
Only
play
a
was
month.
done
I would say you're fucked up already.
for way different reasons, like dark depression kind of fucked me up
Mm.
because like for everything going on, I'm not a depressed person. I've actually kind of never been. For all the shit I deal with, anxiety and depression not actually among the many things that I have to grapple with. But yeah, no, that messed me up, man.
Mm. Well, we then have a couple scenes where Ty and Anders are both getting drunk, and we have Starbuck and Ellen sort of talking. It's like, oh, they're not going to be friends, are they? And Ellen is also like hot on Anders. He's like, I always wanted to date a ball player. So
Oh, Ellen.
we miss Ellen. Nice to see her back. We then cut to Callie and Tyrrell walking around the Founders Day celebrations, and they're basically trying to convince themselves that it'll be better on the Galactica than on New Caprica. It's like, oh, it's probably better to have the baby on Galactica. There's doctors there. There'll be a sick bay there. So,
Yeah.
like, just convincing
Convincing
themselves.
themselves that the circumstances they didn't want are a good thing, actually,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is that's a very human thing to do.
Yes, yes. I did like seeing that. But then we have Starbuck and Apollo also giving each other long looks across the way. Yep. Back in the present, we then have Athena with Starbuck as Starbuck sort of warms up. It's like, oh, why can't men make things simple? They think they own you. And Athena's like, are you talking about Sam or about Lee? Um, and
In other words, you ain't fooling anybody.
Yeah, yeah. And then Starbucks starts being open as like, he's been making the same mistake since the day he met me. You talking about Zach is what Athena says. And she's like, yeah, now I'm with Sam. I don't know why I'm telling you this. And Athena's like, well, confessions are good for the soul. So then Dee goes over to Apollo and she says, I don't want you to fight. And Apollo sort of again reaffirms, like, this has nothing to do with us, Dee. Kara and I just have a score to settle. So, again, big old lie.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to note something. 3 seasons in, can we get a consensus on how the fuck to pronounce Starbucks' first name?
Kara?
That's how
Kara?
that Kara is how most people say it. That's how Ty will say it later. And Kara is how Lee says it every fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Kara.
dude, so far as I can tell, going by numerically how many people are saying each one, for all the feelings you have around her, you can't get her fucking name right.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why she's all pissed off.
It would be valid as hell.
It's funny because I have a friend of mine. She's one of my closest friends, and I keep forgetting her actual name because I just know her by her online name. She doesn't care. She doesn't use her non-online name anywhere else. She's just it's just very very funny. So
I have learned and forgotten most of the non-stage names of my burlesque friends.
that's really yeah. It's the same here. Same here.
Yeah.
So we then have Ty seeing through Dee and Apollo kissing each other in through the ring, and he flashes back to Ellen. He's all sad about Ellen. Um, and it's a flash forward. It's a flashback, but also a flash forward to a scene later on. We'll see with Starbuck later on, so I'll save it for later. But basically, it's just a moment where Ty's thinking of Ellen, essentially.
Oh, if you're just going to skip over the memory that he has of his scene with Ellen, I'm going to highlight that because that
Please,
was one
please
of
do.
the.
We come back to it later on, so I was going to talk about it there. But if you want to talk about it here, please. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
well, I'll just talk about it now because this, I think, is very telling of my opinion of the romance in this show. That the one that actually made me smile in all of this was the openly toxic relationship between Ty and Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's this wonderful moment where he says to her, "Have I ever told you why I love you?" And she says, "No, not once." And they're smiling as they say this, and he goes, "Oh, well, then I'll have to save it for a special occasion."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not saying they're relationship goals. They're not. It's a fucked dynamic. But it's like, it's giving me a little moment that's like, again, it's kind of like showing that little bit of New Caprica had hope once. Some days they're kind of functionally dysfunctional. And it
Mm-hmm.
was cute. And I really liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did have some good moments. There's a reason they stuck together because there were bright moments. Is like kind of idea. So not as many as there should have been for how toxic it fucking was, but there
No,
were some. Um.
like
Anyway.
they have one of those relationships that it's honestly, and I'm not saying this is the case, but you could make an argument like, were they bad for each other? Yes. They were still the best either of them was ever going to find because of who they are and what their deal was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's sort of this fine balancing act of like, should we be together? No. But it's more fitting that we are with each other than we are with literally anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Two peas in a pod, a very fucked up, toxic, abusive pod. We then cut back to the present. And Adama is looking and he sees the chief talking to one of his mechanics, his lead mechanics. And there's like something up with a ship. The mechanic's telling him, and it's like, yeah, we'll get to it later, Tyrell says. Adama sees this and he asks the chief, ship down. And Chief's like, yeah, I figured I'll give him an R&R right now. Um, we then cut to New Caprica, where Gata's talking to Adama and Roslyn at the new Founders Day celebration. He's talking about politics and stuff, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, I have to head off." He's like, "Oh, I thought he'd never leave."
Yeah.
Um,
Can I just pause and ask you a question?
mhm,
I had a thought after I finished this episode, and I
mhm,
want you to tell me if I'm right or not.
mhm.
Is Gata the only recurring regular character who does not have a romantic fucking entanglement and isn't also a Cylon, even though half of them have them as well?
Mm, yes and no. I'll put it this way. There is a webisode series where he does get a romantic entanglement.
A fucking fucking course
But
there is.
there is a webisode, I think it's in season 4, that's focused on like it's basically like kind of like the resistance that we got between seasons 2 and 3. There's one focused on him, and he does get romantic stuff in there. But
So
it's never in the episodes proper.
literally no one is spared. Fuck.
Yeah, that's all I'll say about Gator. But yes, he does get some romance stuff in webisodes.
Look, as somebody who finds the romantic entanglements more often than not 100% of the time, but probably about 90% of the time, are distracting from what I'm actually here for. Are you at all surprised that I'm really frustrated with a show that literally doesn't have a single major character who isn't romantically paired off?
Wait, I'm trying to give me a second. Give me a second. Let me think if I can find one. No.
Yeah.
In fact, I think even all of the Cylons. No. No, wait. There might be one. There might be one.
Wow.
And I guess Simon doesn't
My
have any
cup,
romantic entanglements either.
my cup runneth over.
There's Simon, and I think maybe one other person, but I'm trying to remember a storyline with that character or not. If that character does, they might. There's an opportunity for them. I don't remember if it leaned into the romance part of it or not.
Oh, one, Coddle.
Oh yeah,
So
Coddle. Yeah, Coddle. Yeah.
but he's an old.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, and also Dean Stockwell too. Yeah, he's also an old.
yeah, but he was banging Ellen.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I feel like the Coddles would bang each other. You know, like other Coddles would bang other Coddles.
Did you just drop that Coddle's a Cylon by accident?
Oh, not Coddle. Sorry, I was thinking Dean Stockwell. Sorry, I misspoke. No, I did not. I did not spoil that. That is not a spoiler. No, sorry. Dean Stockwell. Dean Stockwell
Okay.
would fuck each other. That's who I was really talking
Cavill.
about. Cavill. Sorry, I got
Cavill.
C word. That was not. That was not an actual drop. I'm not saying whether or not Coddle is, but I did actually mean the Cavills would be fucking each other. Is what I meant. I did actually legitimately mean the Cavills.
Okay.
Seriously, that wasn't that was not. I'm not saying whether Coddle or not is a Cylon or not, but I do mean the Cavills. I was saying the Cavills would fuck each other.
If Coddle does get revealed to be a Cylon, I am gonna give you shit for spilling that early,
Please
regardless
do.
of what you meant.
Please do. I don't know if Coddle was a Cylon if he would fuck himself. Cavills would, I feel like, but Coddles I don't know. Who are they? I wonder if if Starbuck was a Cylon if they'd fuck each other. I'm trying to think of like characters who would fuck each other if there was a Cylon. I mean, I would if I was a Cylon.
Kara would throw on a strap and go to town. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course she
yeah,
would.
100%. Yeah. Anyways, now that we're on that point.
Now that we have diverted onto self-cessed.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's favorite online topic that gets no weird anger about it at all.
Yes, one of the many topics that the discourse is always super normal.
Yeah. I was there for Loki season 1 discourse. I remember. Anyways, we then so after Gata leaves, Roslin talks to Adama. Is like, this stuff around here. They're drinking water. It's like there's a mountain north of here where this water comes from, and it's clear as glass. And I'm thinking of building a cabin up there in the mountains. So she has hope for the future. Is basically the idea.
The
Um,
fool.
yes, yes, yes. How dare you? Um, we are back on New Caprica. It's nighttime. Starbuck and Lee are taking both part of the dancing that's going on, and there's obviously sexual tension happening.
The dance is very Titanic.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
It's very much the below decks party from Titanic, like right down to it being Irish style music and having the camera like in the middle and everybody dancing around it and like getting a spinning, like it's just straight out of the same playbook.
Well, Dee notices Lee and Starbuck giving each other fuck me eyes during their dancing. But Dee comes up to to Lee and says, I want to get out of here. And he leans in to like, get really close to her, and he's like, "Hey, you're catching more than a few looks, Commander of the Pegasus. Let's not blow it. We've kept this under wraps." And he says, she says, "I've never seen you this happy ever. So you stay right here. You get drunk out of your mind. You'll have a hangover, and then I'll make it up. I'll help you tomorrow in private." So she heads away.
Yeah.
So, and then Apollo looks at Starbuck after D heads out.
Which, if you're noticing your dude is giving fuck me eyes to somebody else at a party where everyone's drinking, your solution is you stay here and keep drinking. I'm gonna go.
To be fair, that does come back at the end. Like it is. I don't think Dee is an idiot during this scene. She is intentionally choosing to let this happen. Is my read on it. I think again, whether or not she's right or not, my read on it, given like at the end, she literally says, "I know you have feelings for Starbuck," just skipping ahead to that point. I think she saw it as similar to the boxing ring, which is pressure valve. Just he'll fuck her, get it out of his system, and he'll be focused on me for at least a time.
And just like the pressure valve thing, that's not how people work.
I agree, but I even think she knows that. And I think this works because it doesn't. Like she even acknowledges at the end. We'll get to that scene. She acknowledges that she knows.
I like that scene. I don't think I read this scene having intentionality relative to that scene though.
Oh, I do. I 100%.
Don't.
I 100% read it as D being like, "All right, he's gonna fuck her. Let him fuck her." Was my read on this scene. That was how I read the scene. Because they make a point of like having shots of her literally catching them, and so I've like whether or not you think it works, like, but like I read that as clearly the intention of D saw that she even says like, "I've never seen you more happy," after she was just looking at like we clearly get shots of her seeing Apollo giving Starbuck fuck me eyes. So like that's the thing in her mind. I think she's very clearly making the intention to be like, let him fuck her. I think that was very clear. Yeah.
Whatever, man. I hate it regardless.
Just saying. I think that is the intention of the scene. Anyways, we then cut to Roslin and Adama. They're laying up looking at the stars. Roslin's laying in his arms. And Rosalind's saying, "I got tired of looking at the stars through the window of Colonial 1, and now I just come out every night and stare and stare." Adama sings a very cheesy song, and Rosalind laughs, and he's like, "What is that?" And it's like, "Oh, a friend used to sing that in the cockpit. Juan was his name." And then Rosalind says, "Is this really it, Bill? Is this how we're going to spend the rest of our days?" Mm-hmm. And the answer is no, because we cut back to the present. I will say, just before we get to that, this is one that I like. I know you say you don't like Rosalind Adama, especially in light of the other kiss. I like this one because it's not like sex based.
Of course not. It's the olds.
The olds. It's not the olds.
We can't have the olds being sexual.
I know. I wish we had more olds being sexual. However, and I wish we had more youngs being like this.
Ditto.
But that being said, even if we're just taking the ageism angle of it out of it, I do really like it. I do think it's a cute scene, and I do like their thoughts. It works for me. It does work for me, especially as we get more.
It's
fine. You heartless bitch. You heartless bitch. Have some Merry Christmas, Look, if Adama was wearing booty shorts, would you be happier? I don't know. Maybe. I asked that. The answer is yes.
Look, I am polyamorous. I deal with enough romantic juggling in my own life. I don't need it in my entertainment.
Well, that's a you problem, huh?
I never said it wasn't. But guess what? I'm the fucking co-host, so my problem is y'all's problem.
Oh, well, all right, Grinch. We go back to the present, and Adama steps up into the ring. Everyone's like, "Oh, cool! Adama's getting in the ring. Oh man, the old man's gonna do some stuff." And then he calls out the chief and says, "Get your fat, lazy ass up here." And Terrell like is kind of smiling at this, and he's kind of taking it as a joke. Everyone's kind of taking it as a joke. It's like, ah, yeah, this is just fun. And Dom's getting in the ring, gonna fuck with us a little bit, and I'll rough him up a little bit. The old man. He even says that he says, I think to Callie, he's like, he's an old man. I'll be fine. He's not serious. Ty even says to Adama, he's like, you sure about this? And they go to fight, and Adama hits Chief hard, like punches him right in the face, surprising Tyrell, knocking him down. And says, "Get back up, Chief. We're just getting started."
Yep.
So, yep.
Like, I know they tried to set this up,
Mm-hmm.
like with this notion that Chief was letting stuff slide or whatever, but like, they didn't earn that, I don't think.
Yeah, and no. I mean, I don't think it's meant to be earned. I don't think it's coming out of a place of actual frustration on Adama's part, like in terms of like large pent-up specific frustration at the chief. Um, because again, it speaks to his speech at the end, right? Like I think he's kind of proving a point more than he's like venting specific anger at the chief. Now, the chief may be venting some anger at Adama as we go on here that I think is uh, I wish they could drawn a little bit more connections for me on it, but Adama doing the punch I think worked fine.
See, I'm over here with Tyrell. Like, I get why Tyrell's wailing on him. Dude punched him in the face. And it's like what I said before. Like, getting punched straight on in the face probably doesn't endear you to a person, especially not in the heat of the moment.
Yeah. Well, again, Adama's trying to make a point here, I feel, is my
I
take
know
on it.
that. I know that. It's a stupid point, and it's a stupid way to make it stupid point.
Fair enough. My read on Tyrrell's thing, and this is my read on it, is like, yes, part of it's just like, the dude punched me. All right, fuck him. I'll fuck him up. But they also, because they have the flashback scenes to like him on New Caprica, I think the other connection is that we're supposed to get some implication in, is that like Adama let him stay on New Caprica, and there might even be a level of resentment at like you let me stay on New Caprica and I got hurt because of it, sort of thing. Which I wish I'd like kind of made the connection stronger on. That was my because that's the only way it makes sense to me. Because why would you have these flashbacks for? I mean, the flashbacks for Adama's point, but like for Tyrell, the arc doesn't work for me. Of like I'm angry at him because he let me stay on New Caprica, and the only way that works is he let me stay on New Caprica, and now I had to like that I was there for the occupation.
No, the
And then
flashbacks of Tyrell are there because this is the all punching and romance fucking double length episode. So because he's a romantic pairing and they're just doing more.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case.
I do.
It's going into Adama's point, which is he lets people get too close, which is what he talks about later.
No. I'm not talking about the fight right now. Like, you're trying to justify Tyrell wailing on Adama as like being rooted in the flashbacks. I'm telling you, the flashbacks are only there because they're doing fucking romance arcs for everybody, and those two are an established couple, and that's the only fucking reason it's there.
No, the reason it's actually there is Adama letting them stay on New Caprica is something that Adama regrets, as he clearly points out later on. So there is a reason, and it's there for Adama's arc, not for Tyrell's necessarily. I'm just saying you could justify Tyrell's wailing on him, but it's not there in the flashbacks. But the flashbacks aren't just there because we have Callie and Chief doing romance stuff. It's there for Adama's arc. I'm just saying if they had used it more effectively, it could have also tied in some lingering resentment from Tyrell in a more effective way.
That would have been the stupidest resentment in the history of this fucking show.
I think it could have worked. I don't know if you.
I'm
not saying it's just. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying
you
it
think
makes
it
logical.
could have worked. You think with all the other bullshit that this episode's already doing, that it could have worked to have to go out of its way to have Tyrell motivated by you did for me the thing I asked you to do, and I faced consequences for it. Now I'm mad at you for letting me do the thing that I wanted to do.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because that's something that people. That's something that people have.
I don't care how people actually are. People suck. I want my entertainment better than people are.
Well, I like my entertainment to actually reflect human emotions, Vera.
People are awful.
I I don't even know how to continue with that. We can just go back. We go back to a flashback on New Caprica. Apollo sees that Starbuck has literally drank Anders under the table, quite literally. He says D also packed it in, and Starbuck says, "Well, it's just you and me then." Back in the ring in the present, Chief is getting his ass handed to him. And Adama sort of like goads him on. He's like, "Is this how you fight your enemies, Chief? This is how you fight for your life? Get up, no excuses." And then Chief gets in a good hit on Adama finally and says, "Is this what you wanted?" So now the fight is on, as they say. Back on.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there's betting going on. We didn't mention that.
Yeah, there's some betting going on in the background. I didn't even get to that because it's so tangential. I have too many fucking notes to take. Um, we then go back to New Caprica to Bill and Roslyn, Dom and Roslyn looking up at the stars. And Roslyn says, maybe we should just enjoy this. Maybe we should just enjoy being on this planet as long as it lasts. The silence may come back. Ha! For backshadowing. But right now we have a break, so we should embrace this world and this life and see what it brings. And Dom was like, well, I've got people who want to get off the ship and move down here. And, Roslyn's like, can we blame them? Can't keep them up. They're like prisoners running circles, like waiting for the apocalypse. And I was like, well, the apocalypse happened once before. And Ron's like, well, there's nothing you could do to stop it. If the silent comes back, we're dead. You know what I say? Life's a bitch and then you die. And I'm serious. I think we should all look at every moment now as borrowed time, live the life, have everyone live the lives they want to live. Stop worrying when it's going to end. So seize the day, as is her motto. Carpe diem.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is also a bullshit motto, but whatever.
I don't disagree. But it is the point that this episode kind of wanted to make about what New Caprica represented, which is like this is a time for like, oh, people should live in the moment and enjoy what they have and not be constantly worried about the future. Which, I don't think the show is 100% saying is 100% right, but it is kind of the point it's trying to make it that symbolically of what New Caprica represented to everybody. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of what like that's what like Apollo and Lee's storyline represent. Like everyone's storyline kind of revolves around that. Like people are trying to figure out what life they want to live on New Caprica when they have hope. So, um, speaking of which, we have a good long scene where where Starbuck has taken Apollo to where she wants to build a home. He's like, really, you wanna build a home here? Fly. He's like, you don't want to keep flying. She's like, yeah, flying is gonna suck now. There's no more battles or anything. And then there's some sexual tension moments. Like, oh, well, what room will this be? Standing in a space. He's like, oh, that's the bedroom. He's like, I don't even want to imagine that. And he's like, well, give me a tour of your home. Give me the tour of the home, the future life of Kara Anders, and then they start talking about Anders, and she's like, I'm not getting married. And he's like, then what's the point? You love him, right? And she's like, where are we going with him? Where are we going with this, Lee? And he's like, that's the question. Where are we going? Is this it? Is this the rest of your life? Is this how you want to spend it and who you want to spend it with? And she's like, well, do you have someone else in mind? And he's like, tell me you're not afraid that that I'm going to upset your nice little apple cart. And she says, well, maybe I wanted upset. And then they kiss and do sexy times. They do the sexy times in the sand. And unlike Anakin Sky, Vera's like nodding off for listeners who aren't watching the video. And they get sand everywhere, so they're not like Anakin Skywalker. Or sorry, alluvian deposits. Um, and yeah, so now after they do the sexy times dance, they go, well, that makes things more complicated. And it's like they're like, well, what are we gonna do? And Lee's like, we should just accept it. I tell D, you tell Sam. We should shout to the skies our feelings. Then he stands up naked and yells, "My name is Lee Adama, and I love Kara Thrace." And he keeps yelling it out and says, "You should say it with. I'm gonna keep yelling until you do it." And eventually, she stands up and does it herself. She says, "I am Kara Thrace, and I love Lee Adama." And they kiss again. Um, and she then says, "Are you sure I'm what you want?" And he's like, "Yes, I just didn't think I knew it until I said it out loud right now." And she says, "Why? Because of Zach?" And he says, "Yeah, and a lot of things, mostly because I was afraid to admit how much I needed you, how much I needed anyone. And I love you, Kara Thrace." And she says, "I love you too."
This whole like God, Just go. Just go.
I
Fucking
don't
move
again I
on.
don't it's a cheesy dumb scene. Again, I don't hate it. Like you hate on it. I think it's like good they're finally saying the shit and it's cringe in an adorable way. And I don't know. I don't hate the scene. So,
I think it's cringe in a cringe way.
yeah,
And it can
because you're a Grinch. Yeah. Just an evil, heartless Grinch.
look, here's just in case I can't remember if I've said this before. My general rule of thumb on whether or not I'm going to enjoy a depiction of a relationship is twofold. I enjoy depictions of relationships that are already established, fuck of a lot more than I enjoy courting. And even aside from that, I most of the times when I like a romantic relationship, it is a major focus of the thing.
Hmm.
This is all side shit as far as I'm concerned. I understand that on paper, mapping it out, this is important to the characters. I don't fucking care. It's not why I'm here. It's not what I find interesting. It is shit that I can go anywhere else to get. I think that's my major fundamental thing, especially when it shows up in shit like sci-fi and fantasy. Like I am here for stuff I can't get somewhere else. I can get this shit anywhere. And it's not what I'm here for.
No, I agree. I agree on that point. Like this isn't what I'm here for. Um Again, it's one of those like it's fine for me for a thing I don't like. So, yeah. Back in the ring, we then have Starbuck sort of talking shit to Lee as they watch Adama fight. He's like, old man's got chops, knows when to make his moves. Wish I could say the same about his son. Um, and then Dee says, why are you two even fighting? Why not get a room? Um, and Starbuck says, been there, done that. And so Dee kind of storms off, and Apollo sort of catches up and she says, hey, what she's talking about was a long time ago. And Dee's like, settle it tonight. Um, yep. And she leaves, and Starbuck
Now,
says,
see, this is part of why I don't buy your read on earlier.
mm-hmm.
Because my read on this scene, just going by the panicked face that Lee makes when Kara says that, and the oh fuck you response that Dee has, to me, the way this scene reads is Kara is intentionally, explicitly talking about what happened on New Caprica. Lee's trying to cover it by claiming that it was the shit before then that she was referring to.
Oh, see, that wasn't my read on it either.
And Dee is not buying his bullshit in that moment. That because like he gets this look of panic on his face. And it's a look I've seen in real life where people get called on shit and it's this look of, oh, fuck. What can I say that isn't a total lie that kind of covers for this? And for him is to claim like that was a long time ago because like New Caprica was what a year and a bit ago. Like you could claim
Year and a
that's a
half,
long time.
year and a half ago. That was my read on it. That so say your piece, and I'll make my argument.
That wasn't my read on this scene. This scene read to me as Kara is referring to New Caprica. Lee tries to cover it by being like, no, 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 no. She's talking about shit before then, and Dee being like, fuck you, I don't care.
My read on it was very different. My read on it was Starbuck was referring to New Caprica and also the other times before, but she was doing it intentionally to get under Dee's skin and representing it
Oh yeah, yeah.
as representing it as if it was very recently. And that's and when Lee comes over and saying that what she was talking about was a long time ago. Yes, he's panicking, but he's panicking because he's getting pissed off at Starbuck for saying that because he knows that she's intentionally trying to like frustrate things and make it seem like it was more recently. And Dee's just fucking kind of done with the whole fucking thing.
So like
Like my read on it was 100% like Dee was just
here's here's why, if that was intended, why the presentation of this episode clashes with that intention.
mm-hmm.
Because yes, if you were to lay out a timeline of events, Lee banging Kara, the last time that happened was a year and a half ago, and he can rightfully claim that was a long time ago. In terms of what the audience has experienced, they literally just fucking saw that happen.
I don't
like
disagree.
just now. So the presentation, and for me as an audience member, my brain is not immediately going to take something that you just showed me and file it under a long time ago next to shit that was actually a while back for both me and the characters to have experienced. So if what you're saying was the intention, then the presentation clashes with it.
Well, the thing that throws me in that is that like Starbuck and Apollo had sex even beyond New Caprica, which Dee would know about. So like,
Well, see, that was the other thing that I was thrown off by in this, because to me the whole scene read like she didn't know, which made her relationship with Lee seem really fucking busted.
yeah, which I don't read that as the case. And especially given how Dee's final scene in the flashbacks are, I don't think she's that ignorant. So, like, I really read this as Starbuck intentionally trying to misrepresent it so that Dee thinks it was relatively recently. Because Dee's all upset because she's seeing this shit go down and thinks like, oh, has he been like seeing her recently? And I think that that's kind of the vibe. And I think it's her being like, I'm about like, given again her having eyes wide open, even going into this relationship as we see in the flashbacks, like she sees that she's about to lose him, and like she says in the flashback, as we get to later on, she says, I know I'm going to lose you. It's going to happen. But now, when confronted with the fact of it happening, as she knew it was, she's angry about it, even though she knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think the non-sequential telling benefits the story that they're trying to tell,
Oh, I don't.
personally.
That's fair, but I think that that is the intention of these scenes. Whether or not the presentation benefits that, I don't know. That's up to opinion, I guess. But like, I think that that is the intention, because otherwise, I have to read it as like Dee's an idiot for having left Lee on the planet there. Which, like, again, I I don't like. Maybe the showrunners are making Dee an idiot, but given her final scene with Lee, I have to like be like, okay, she's self-aware, so I don't think she's that dumb. I would have to. Maybe I'm wrong for this, but I have to give the writer some credit to not thinking she's that fucking dumb, especially when they do shots which are like she's looking and seeing the eye fucking that they're giving each other, and then she just immediately goes after that. Well, stay here. You're drunk. You're happy. I'll leave you with the girl that you clearly have sexual tension with. Like that just reads as too
See,
stupid for me.
okay, so like we're jumping all over the
I
place
know we
here.
are. I know we are.
So let me say this. So like the scene you keep alluding to, which is one of the last things we see, which is her taking a position that I don't find uninteresting, and I've seen it done in a couple of places, and it can be interesting. Somebody basically accepting the second violin chair instead of
Hmm.
first. Like this idea of like I'd rather play second fiddle than not be in the band at all, and her accepting like someday I'm going to lose you and it's going to be to her. I don't find that uninteresting as a notion. I don't feel like the performance, and this might be a direction issue or it might be a writing issue. I don't, and I'm not saying you couldn't make this work or that you couldn't, you know, thread this needle. But I feel like her reaction, especially in the scene that has kicked all this off with Kara being all like, oh yeah, been there, done that. Her Dee's reaction in this scene does not feel informed by the scene that we see later. It feels far more standard than the nuance that the scene we see later feels like it should bring to it. Her reaction in this moment feels like being, you know, doing the line in the sand, like make your choice, stay away from my man. Like it feels like a very standard rote response. And that to me doesn't gel with the more, you know, the slightly more interesting angle and more nuanced angle that we get in that scene that's coming up later.
I don't disagree with you, but that scene is in this episode, so I have to imagine unless the writers were just, again, dumb and were being like, well, we'll write this in a standard way and then have this reveal later that she knew the whole time and not make sure the backfill the rest of it in the same episode that we're in that makes that line up. So the only way this reads as making any sort of fucking sense to me is like the Dee is just upset in this moment because she's seeing what she knew was going to happen happening, and she's angry about it. Which is, again, whether or not it's fair considering she knew it was coming, it is a understandable emotional reaction. Whether or
But
not
that's
it's a
the that
logical one.
But that's the thing. It is requiring and it's requiring not only for the audience to make a lot of leaps to make that gel with this, but to make them after the fact because we're shown this first. And so the way that my experience of watching this was is I was shown this first. I am first shown her giving a very standard jealous reaction to everything going on. And then they try and backfill nuance later. So suddenly I'm trying to thread a needle over a massive gap that they left going from here to here. And I'm trying to do it after the fucking fact because they were shown non-sequentially. I have to rearrange the entire way this whole thing has fucking worked. And I don't care enough about these people's fucking love lives to want to do that.
Okay, that is fair. Now that again, I will agree that it means that the episode structure is bad. In terms of what it's trying to do and say by having the big reveal at the end of the episode. You're not wrong. What I am saying is that I think that if we are to, with that knowledge, interpret these characters' actions, that is what is happening emotionally for D here. Whether or not that is what the episode leads you to emotionally understand on your first watch is a different question, and whether that is a let me put it this way. That is clearly the reaction I think the episode wants you to have, and the reveal is meant to make you go recontextualize it after the fact. And whether or not you want to do the work or make you think that that's an effective use of a first watch of an episode. Because sometimes there's episodes where you watch something once and then you watch again, like, oh, that makes it so much better the second time around. It kind of recontextualizes, and there's an interesting conversation between my first and second watch. Here, it's like, I don't necessarily know if the first and second watch are an interesting conversation with each other. It's just one of those, like, oh, I guess I now have to spend the fucking time to rearrange what I thought about my first watch through. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I think in general, and like I'm just coming up with this kind of off the top of my head, but I think in general, playing people's emotional truth as a twist rarely works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that I can get, unless it's like unless that's like the whole hinge point of the fucking thing,
Well, I
which
mean, then we're on to my whole thing with romance in general. When you make it a central feature, it's more likely to work for me.
yeah, well, I'm even talking about like twist motivations of like, ah, he was the killer the whole time, like that, like, his looks in the scene were actually him being murderous rather than like when it's like the big twist is like the whole fucking point. But this, yeah,
Yeah.
the twist of her being aware of this is a side point into Starbuck and Lee are gonna fucking work out their sexual tension.
Yeah.
It's a side plot to a side plot, essentially.
Yeah. And you wonder why I don't fucking care.
Anyways, yes. So all that happened. Dee leaves. Lee is pissed off at Starbuck, calls her a mother fracker for basically causing problems in his marriage. And Starbuck seems to be enjoying fucking around with Lee. We then go back to the fight with Adama and Chief. Chief finally gets a good one in on Adama and starts kicking his ass. And then, they go back to their corners. Coddle tells Adama to quit. You're getting beat up, and Rosalind's like, "You're crazy. Do you want to do this? Do you want to win?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I want to win." And so he's like, "All right." She gives him like some advice, like, "Keep your guard up." Da 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 da. It's a small thing. I do like that Rosalind's kind of being like the ring coach. It was kind of nice.
He doesn't. He doesn't say he wants to win.
Yeah, he does.
Like she asks him, "Do you want to keep going?" And he says yes.
Oh,
And she's like, "Do you want to win?" He's like, "I'm not gonna win."
oh, let me double check that. Maybe I misheard that. Again, too many notes. Oh, we are further in this episode than I thought. For fuck. I'm just gonna assume you're correct. It like restarted. My thing's just crashing. I'm just gonna assume you're correct because my video feed keeps crashing. So fuck it,
All
you're
right,
correct.
hold on. No, see now.
He says I'm not gonna win. I found it. So you were correct.
Thank you. What? One more time.
You were correct.
Good girl.
On New Caprica, we had a flashback, and it's Chief and Callie. Chief is hungover. and Callie sort of waking him up and sort of getting him up. But then Adama comes over to them with Roslyn and he says, I've been thinking about what you said. You may be right about living down here, because Roslyn sort of pushed him, like, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. And Battlestar's no place to raise a family. I'm going to miss you both, but I'm going to wish you both good luck. And, you're allowed to stay down here. And they thank him. And he says, my best to both of you. I want you both to have at least a dozen. So, mm-hmm. So yes, he's being supportive of them. We cut back to Adama getting his shit beat out of him by the chief. It's kind of sad to watch. Everyone's sort of like, oh man, he's beaten up and old. Uh, and the chief knocks him down. And then, Adama stands up and's helped up sort of by the chief and gives a speech. When you stand on this deck, you be ready to fight or you dishonor the reason why we're here. And now remember this: when you fight a man, he's not your friend. Same goes when you lead men. I forgot that forgot that once. I let you all get too close. I dropped my guard. I let this crew and this family disband, and we paid the price in lives. That can't happen again. And then Adama sort of heads off with Roslyn, and then at that, sort of Tyrell takes that in, and he looks back at his engineer guy from earlier and says, "Let's get work on that bird. Let's get working." So yeah, the point ultimately kind of being like, hey, we need to focus and like they can't let you get close, can't have anybody near me. Fuck y'all, I gotta be a leader, and everyone we should get back into that mindset. And Tyrell sort of seemingly agrees because he's like, yeah, let's get back to work. And he says to the other guy. So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which
So.
it's this one doesn't bother me so much, but it is another instance of basically the episode going, what we told you before isn't quite the whole thing. Here's the really, because with Adama's motivation, like his whole thing that he said to Dee and also to Roslyn was all like, oh, this is a tradition, they need this that lets off steam. But it becomes pretty clear that after this fight, the main point was to get everybody in a room so he could tell them, I'm not your friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think also the point I like this because I don't think the episode or the show is going to agree with him on this point, which I kind of appreciate. Of
Which
like the
good.
like yeah, which is like everyone harden the fuck up. I don't want to be near you all. Don't get close to me anymore. It's trauma. He's dealing with some trauma in his normal masculine closed off way. So yes. All right. Ty then calls everything over. It's like this is all over, but Starbuck is still like, no, we gotta keep going. And Lee's like, it's over, Kara, however you want to say it. And she starts needling him even more. What, you don't have the guts to frack? You have the guts to frack another man's woman, not fight one. And then he basically, Dee was gonna be getting sloppy seconds, and then Apollo punches her. He's like, all right, you want to fight? You've got it. So,
Yeah.
yep. Which I will point out here, we talked about earlier Apollo punching Starbuck and it being weird, dude punching a woman thing, and I still stand by that. Here, though, this one, at least in this context, it's much more understandable. Not that you should ever punch someone apropos of nothing, but she is like quite literally trying to angle for a fight. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Just because we made a point of like pointing out when Lee punched Starbuck in the face other times, which is a sad thing that I have to say has happened repeatedly.
Yeah. Are we supposed to be rooting for these two? Because I'm fucking
Oh
not.
no, this relationship is toxic as fuck. I don't necessarily think we are. Or at least they got shit to work out before they get there. Um, anyways,
Oh,
we
but that's love. He's the boy who's shoving her down on the ground. Fuck
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we then come back to New Caprica. Lee wakes up from his night with Starbuck and she's gone. We then have Starbuck. She's walking around. She finds Anders still drunk and knocked out. And Ty is there with Ellen also asleep. And Ty, so this is the scene I was referring to earlier, where he tells her, like, the secret to avoid hangovers, don't stop drinking. And then Starbuck, accepts a drink from Ty. He sort of offers her one. He's like, I think that's the first drink you've had with me. Um, and then she says, I slept with Lee last night. And Ty just starts laughing.
Which
Um,
is the correct response.
yes. Yeah, so he's like, it's not funny. And then they both start laughing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
is he supposed to say to that?
Yeah, right. And she says, "I'm such an idiot," and he's like, "You said it, I didn't." Um,
I love Ty in this.
no, he's
Honestly,
great.
the Ty in this episode, he's a minor player. He's great in this episode. I
Yeah, no,
love
he's
him.
fantastic. No, and he's like, and he says, but this is also why I do like this because then he like actually says, "Well, why don't you tell me all about it?" Because he actually is like now offering up a chance for her to talk. And he says, she's like, "I gotta make my move one way or the other," and he's like, "It's combat, survival instincts. Make a choice and don't look back." This is his advice. So
Which do you want to take relationship from
yeah, it's
advice from
bad
a
advice.
guy married to Ellen Ty?
Yeah, it's bad advice. It's not good advice, as we will see. But it is a sweet scene for their friendship, and it kind of shows like how Ty and Starbuck got into a much more friendlier place that we saw them in after the flash forward. So,
Yeah.
back in the ring, we see Starbuck and Apollo are fighting, but Dee is still there watching. On New Caprica,
It's worth noting, just because of some of the stuff that's going to happen later. Like a lot of the people who were there have already cleared out
yes,
and
yes, yes,
left,
yes.
including Ty. So there's no referee. That's going to matter later for some of the shit that goes on.
Yes. We go back to New Caprica. Apollo goes up and finds Dee, and he like kisses her straight out, and she's like, "Well, so much for keeping a lid on things," because he's just kissing her out in public, finally. Um, and back in the ring, Starbuck and Apollo are fighting, and she's like, "What, are you afraid to hit me? Or maybe you can't." And then Apollo hits her good, and then the fight starts getting dirty because she like sweeps his leg and knocks him on the ground.
Oh yeah, she starts fucking kicking him and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no ref. It's just getting dirty. Um, Back on New Caprica, Dama goes up to Lee and he's like eating something. He's just snacking. He's just snacking. Uh, and he's like, "Hey, you look like you had a party. You missed all the excitement. Starbuck got married about an hour ago. You okay? You okay? I clearly just delivered some very important emotional information, but I'll just stand here saying you okay as you walk away from me, and I'll just keep snacking." It was just the blocking for this was very weird for me with Adama. I'm like, you clearly got to know your sons have some level of feeling here, and you're just going, "What? You okay? Snack, snack."
Yeah.
Not that I want.
That girl you're weird about just got married. How about that?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, it's like not that I expected him to be a whole bundle of like, "Oh, you want to talk about it, son?" That wouldn't feel in character, but it also just felt kind of weird to be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna snack while I deliver this emotional information to you." So it was a bit
Yeah.
incongruous. But anyways, Lee is clearly upset by this news. He sees Starbuck and goes up to her, and he's like, you know, Adam also tells Lee, I forgot to say, I gave her permission to muster out as well. It's going to be up to you and me to make sure there's no mass exodus. And so Lee goes up to Starbucks. He's like, "Oh, I can't believe it." And Starbucks and Andrew's like, "Yeah, it was Starbucks' idea." To which Lee is like, "Oh, well, he doesn't say this, but he's clearly upset by that." And he's like, "Well, good luck. You're gonna need it." To Anders. Yeah. So
that's a totally normal thing to say to a guy who just got married.
Yeah, right. And Anders,
and especially to say it in a non-joking tone.
Yeah. Well, Anders is hungover and he's just being a big old puppy dog at this point, I'm sure. So yeah. Anyways, back in the ring, they're going back and forth with each other. It's like, oh, she's like, "Oops, did I break the rules?" He's like, "You've only got one rule: protect yourself at all costs." He says, "You never let anybody get inside." And she's like, "I made my choice." She's like, "You ran away. The truth stings, doesn't it?" What choice did you make? And then this is when Anders shows up. And he's like, sort of realizes like, "Oh, looks like they're trying to kill each other." Like, yeah, it's like he's like, "I wish," essentially.
Yeah, well, welcome to last week, buddy. Where you been?
Yeah. Back on New Caprica, Lee goes up to Dee, and this is right after he kissed her because we kind of got this out of order. And he's like, "Well, Starbuck and Anders got married this morning, and it made me think of the life I wanted, the times we've been together, the happiest I've ever been." And sorry, I apologize. This is them flying back to the Galactica.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, this is them flying back to Galactica. And Dee says, "You love Kara Thrace." This is the scene that we were kind of referring to, where she's like accepting being second fiddle, but wanting to play. Either way, she's like, "You two are linked somehow. One day you will turn to me and say, 'Dee, I'm sorry. I want to be with Starbuck. It will happen. Um, and I want to live my life. Every moment is my last. I will love you and cherish you until Cylons or Kareth Race comes back. Kiss me before I change my mind. So,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So here's another thing that just kind of, I don't I'm not going to say makes the episode worse, but like doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was already annoyed coming into this season where it's like Starbuck is married and Apollo is married and everybody got together during the time jump, and I didn't like that already.
Mm-hmm.
And yet at the same time, you're not endearing it to me by basically revealing, oh, and all these marriages are varying degrees of shams. I'm like, what the fuck are we even doing then?
Chief and Callie seems semi-healthy.
Semi.
It won't stay that way.
Oh, fucking great. Go to therapy.
She means Ron Moore. But also, like
Yes.
all of you listeners should also go to therapy.
Yes, you too. If you have access and can afford one, go to therapy. But Ronald D. Moore in specific, go to fucking therapy. God.
Oh well, we
Jesus.
end out the episode with final scene of the episode back in the present in the ring. Starbuck and Lee are fighting each other to exhaustion. Anders and Dee watch on. Um, and basically they end up like holding each other up, and basically it becomes like a hug because they basically
Yeah.
like beat each other so they can't like they can barely stand unless they're holding each other. And they said, "Let's call it
Uh-huh.
a tie." D sad face looks on, and they sort of like head out. And Starbuck says, "I missed you." Elise says, "I missed you too." And D and Anders sort of head out upset, and they say, "I think things just got more complicated."
Yay.
Yay! That's the end of this extended episode. So, no spoiler minute here. What'd ya think? For listeners, Vera just gave two middle fingers. So,
I
yeah.
fucking hate this, man.
Like I said, I don't hate it. It is fine. It's fine for me. It is fine. It is one of those I wish they had used the conceit of the boxing episode in a better way, because I don't hate like weird break like concept episodes like this, but yeah, kind of a waste
Yeah.
of one for me, but it's fine. I don't despise it. It's a very controversial episode in the fandom. Fans either love or hate this episode, generally speaking.
Cool.
Mostly for the reasons that you have delineated. So
Yeah, cool. I hate it.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Well,
I'm sure shippers love it. I fucking hate this shit.
yep. Well, it's because you're a Grinchy Grinch.
Yes. I look, my life is overloaded with love and sex. I would like a breather in my entertainment, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. Anyway,
How's
anyway, that
that for a humble
I would say
brag?
just a little humble brag in there. On that
Mm,
note, do you have anything else to say?
no.
Stuff time. Then sell your stuff quite literally.
Stop. You can find my stuff by looking for Council of Geeks. Patreon is what pays the bills and helps ensures that I am able to do this as my living. The main thing that supports is the Council of Geeks YouTube channel. New videos every Saturday. I don't know what's coming up. I'm just trying to keep my head above water and maybe get to
When
100,000
is this coming out?
subscribers.
When is this coming out?
This will be the first one in the new year.
Oh, okay. I can say this then. Because my embargo will be up. You should watch Starfleet Academy because it's really fucking good. If you're looking for a thing to review.
Maybe I will. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, that's my most polished material. There's also the Break Room of Geeks, which is less polished and just sort of my semi-formed thoughts on whatever I have watched, read, listened to, or played lately. And you can also find Council of Geeks on Blue Sky. That is the geeky stuff. There is, of course, also the spicy stuff.
Also the spicy stuff.
And for that, you look for Vera Wild.
No.
Wild is spelled Wilde.
You can find increasingly spicy content
Increasingly spicy content.
on YouTube, TikTok.
TikTok. Also, you're playing very fast and loose with YouTube's terms of service now that we're doing video, Vera.
Go look and find out.
Yeah, for listeners who aren't watching the video, you missed a show. You can find.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If that gets past YouTube's terms of service, Jesus Christ. Anyways, you can find me on YouTube doing video essay style stuff over on Jesse Gender. I will have a big video about the Ferengi. I've been teasing it for forever. That'll be coming out in a few weeks, sometime probably towards the end of January. Yeah, look for that. I have Jesse Ginger After Dark, where I do news, reviews, reactions. I will also be reviewing Star Trek Starfleet Academy, so check that out. I can say this because my embargo will be up by this point. Can't talk about any episode specifics, but coming from someone who hated Section 31, thought Strange New Worlds is a piece of shit, Starfleet Academy is great. And considering this was made before the Ellisons bought Star Trek, it'll probably be some of the last great Star Trek we'll get for a while, so I'm gonna enjoy it. Anyways, you can find all my thoughts on that show there. I have those reviews going up on that channel. I am also on Patreon. That helps me pay my bills, get you your name in videos and extra videos as well. I am also on Nebula, which is the streaming service that houses my movie identities as well as the upcoming show Subliminal that I directed an episode of that will finally be coming out this year at some point. And I think that's it. Oh, I might be starting a brand new podcast with another friend of mine, but I will talk about that when I know for sure when and if that's going to happen. So be on the listen for that. So, yeah, that's everything. Oh, I'm also on Blue Sign and Instagram. So, there we are. Anything else, Vera?
Nah.
Alrighty then. With all that said, I gotta go pack for my trip home for Christmas, because it is not yet Christmas for me. So I hope y'all live long and prosper, and I got an early flight.
Be seeing you.